Let me ask you something. When someone is buried, when the dirt is finally placed back on the grave, we all believe that's the end, that whatever happened in life, at least in death, they're safe. But what if that wasn't true? What if I told you that some of the most disturbing crimes in history didn't happen in dark alleys, or behind locked doors, but 6 feet underground? Tonight, this is not a ghost story. This is not folklore. This is a true crime story, for real cases, where graves were opened, bodies were stolen, and the dead became victims again. These crimes were investigated, some were covered up, some were ignored, and some changed the law forever. If you're someone who watches true crime because you want to understand how far humans can cross the line, then stay with me. And if you want more real crime stories that history tried to forget, support the channel by subscribing. Now, let's talk about the first crime. Story 1. England's body snatchers, crime for profit. England, early 1800s. Back then, becoming a doctor meant learning anatomy the hard way, on a real human body. There was just one problem. The law didn't allow doctors to use corpses, so medical schools did something criminal. They created a black market. They paid men known as body snatchers, grave robbers whose job was simple: wait for a fresh burial, go out at night, dig quietly, and steal the body. They didn't take jewelry, they didn't take clothes, because stealing property was illegal, but stealing a human body, that existed in a legal gray area. Families started noticing signs: graves collapsing overnight, coffins found cracked open, and sometimes completely empty. People were terrified. Some guarded graves with weapons. Others built iron cages over burial sites, just to protect their loved ones from doctors. But two men took this crime even further: William Burke and William Hare. They realized something horrifying. Why steal bodies when you could create them? They murdered at least 16 people, and sold the bodies directly to a respected medical professor. This wasn't desperation. This was organized crime, disguised as science. And when Burke was finally caught and executed, his punishment was poetic. His body was dissected publicly. The same crime returned to him. Story 2. Ancient Egypt's tomb robbers, crime against the dead. Now let's go back much further. Ancient Egypt, a civilization obsessed with the afterlife. They believed the body was sacred. Without it, the soul could not survive eternity. That's why pharaohs were buried with gold, jewels, and spells, to protect them forever. But greed doesn't fear curses. Tomb robbing became so common that even ancient courts recorded these crimes. Confessions still exist today. Robbers admitted to breaking coffins open, ripping gold from mummies, and leaving bodies destroyed. Some mummies were found with limbs broken, chests torn apart, faces smashed, not out of anger, out of speed. They were criminals racing against time. So many royal graves were robbed that priests secretly moved mummies to hidden mass graves just to keep them safe. Even now, many royal bodies have never been found. They were stolen and erased. Story 3. America's graveyard crime scene. The same crime followed history to America. 1800s. United States. Medical schools were growing fast, and once again, they needed bodies. So grave robbing became organized. In some towns, families took turns sleeping in cemeteries, armed, waiting. But one crime changed everything. A mother visited her son's grave, and noticed the soil looked wrong. She followed her instincts, and she followed the trail. It led her to a medical school. Inside, on a dissection table, she recognized her child. This wasn't rumor. This wasn't suspicion. This was proof. The public exploded in anger. Riots broke out. Medical buildings were attacked. For the first time, people forced the government to act. New laws were passed. But for that mother, justice came too late. Her son became evidence in a crime he never consented to. Story 4. Modern grave robbing, crime that never ended. You might think these crimes belong to history. They don't. Even today, graves are still violated. In parts of South Asia and Africa, bodies are stolen for rituals, witchcraft, and superstition. Bones sold on black markets. Skulls used for luck. Children's graves targeted first. Police reports describe graves reopened days after burial, not randomly, precisely, as if someone was waiting. In one case, only the bones were taken. The rest of the body was left behind. The suspects were never found, and the family never returned to that grave. Why this crime still haunts us? Grave robbing is not just theft. It's a crime against dignity, against belief, against the idea that death is the final boundary. But history teaches us something uncomfortable. Some people don't fear the dead. They exploit them. So the next time you pass a cemetery, remember, not every grave stays closed, and not every crime ends with the living. If you want more true crime stories like this, real cases, real victims, real darkness, support the channel by subscribing, because some crimes were buried on purpose, and we're here to uncover them. Sleep well.